an opening bit. I am not Conor McGrath.
Yeah, with Connor not being here, we don't really have a joke.
Yeah. We don't have quite the comedic timing or the loudness, but
No.
me and Hunter will try to make up for it as best as we can.
I don't think I have it in me.
Yeah. Something will definitely be missing this entire show, but Connor's in our hearts, so that's the important thing.
I'm too far east to be Connor.
Fair. So we are here to discuss season 2, episodes 1 through 4, or 1 through 2, or 1 through 3, depending on how things go. Let's start with everybody, I guess, introducing themselves. I'm Arlen Harrow, as you all know.
I am your Supreme Commander, Hunter Davenport.
Allan?
I am Allan Muir, aka the General.
And
you can find my quotes online.
Oh, wow, I didn't realize that's what you were going for.
Yes.
Damn, this is gonna be an Allan episode.
Yeah, this is Allan's on fire. And our guest, Eric Sayour.
I'm the guy that loves Jessica Jones season 1, so that's why I'm here.
I mean, yeah.
We found it.
That's part of it, and also I told Eric about this months ago, and Eric was like, yeah, well, So I said yes, also. So that's how that works. It's very easy to be a guest on our show. You just have to want to be on the show.
Hey, to watch it, we have to know you. Essentially, that's the 2 qualifications.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know where to start, other than general thoughts on Jessica Jones overall. And I guess, Eric, since you already gave us sort of that you are the one who really liked the show before, let's get your general thoughts on the character and on the show previously.
Yeah, I think season 1 is one of my favorite seasons of television overall. I don't watch a lot of TV. Right. But definitely the one of the Marvel shows that I really got into and that I loved. I think most of the reason I love it is because of Jessica Jones, the character. I think Kristen Ritter.
Ritter.
Ritter. Kristen Ritter is amazing, and I love that she's just an asshole.
Yeah, she's a dick.
Yeah.
I do love her character. I love her performance in this show.
She's great. Like, I think she, like, I kind of like in Defenders, she was kind of always the one who was just like, fuck all this. Why am I here? Like,
yeah,
and it works really well.
Here. Yeah, she's the Han Solo of that miniseries. And she really kind of makes it work in a couple of the episodes. So yeah, I guess I'll go with my general thoughts. I feel like anybody who's known me for a while knows I'm the most vocal hater of Jessica Jones season 1 among our friend group. I feel like I don't think there's somebody else. That's why I say that.
I mean, I have negative feelings toward it also, but I don't really talk about it as much. But
whereas I had a whole, not drunk, but recovering from vodka rant about it.
Whole diatribe.
Yes. That I started at 2 a.m. and I just kept on going on about it. I feel like I'm known for not liking the first season. But I do like the character a lot. Like I said, I like her so much that I went back and read her first appearance in comics. That's how interested in her Kristen Ritter made me, which is a good sign of anything. I still sort of don't quite like the first season as much. I haven't gone back and rewatched it, so maybe my feelings would change if I did. But overall, I like the character. I still feel like the first season had very inconsistent supporting cast, a story that had a lot of slack that needed to be cut, but it didn't. So there are entire episodes that don't need to be there. And a character who I have lovingly decided to call the incest twin, because her other incest twin died during the show. Spoilers. If you somehow haven't seen Jessica Jones season 1 and you are listening to this show, what's wrong?
What are you doing with your life?
Why are you doing this to yourself?
Yeah, why? What's going on? You got some issues you want to sort out here?
Do you just listen to podcasts?
The thing is, I watched the because I watched it when it first. I watched it like 2 years ago.
Right.
And I watched the recap.
Mm-hmm.
He's not even in it.
Which one? The incest twin?
Yeah.
He's barely in it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
He didn't. He did
they
not.
Knew.
Yeah, because he didn't get the chance to annoy me like the other incest twin did. And I'm not gonna go into a whole diatribe about the incest twin because I don't need to. Because there are brighter things ahead. So yeah, Hunter, if you want to go deeper into your thoughts on season 1 or the character in general.
I don't. So my feelings on season 1 is I don't think Jessica Jones and Kilgrave are the problems with that season.
Yep, I agree with
I
that.
think most of my issues with it are the pacing and just like once Kilgrave is like captured, they should have just ended it. Like I just at that point I was just like, fuck this show. I can't. This is too much.
Yeah,
like
it sounds like you and a lot of people have problems with the amount of episodes the Marvel Netflix shows have.
It's almost like they should be short.
It's almost like up until recently they should be like 10 episodes. Yeah, like
or the one that was actually pretty short could have been longer.
Yeah, that's fair and better written towards the second half.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah.
So yeah, like, but I totally agree. Like, Kilgrave was in that cell for like 3 episodes or whatever. And like he was on the run from Jessica for like 3 episodes.
Yes.
Like
it's so bizarre to me that they did that. Like I don't.
Yeah, like it took forever for it was like this should all be in 1 episode. This should just be what's going on here. I don't understand.
It feels you know what it feels like. It feels like really bad anime pacing where they're just like
it's this.
Let's just drag this out as long as we can.
Yeah, it feels like they had a story and then Netflix told them it must be 13 episodes. There's no way of changing that.
Yeah, that's why the Simpson fight starts in 1 episode and then ends in the next episode.
Yeah.
Which is one of those things that I'm like, why did you do that? Yeah, so yeah, that's our general thoughts. Allan, did I give you a chance to give like general thoughts on season 1, like, or just the character?
I liked most of the characters. Kilgrave, Jessica,
right.
Trish, Luke Cage.
Mm-hmm. Luke is a shining part of season 1 for me, and
yes, he is definitely.
He's a big part of why I do like the second half less because he's not there. There's a Luke Cage-sized hole that's not there for most of the episodes.
When he just disappears.
Yeah, where it's like, I'm going off to do this thing over here, and
I gotta
he
go
was
back
in the
to
recap when they the scene in the hospital.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. Like the moment he came back, I instantly liked the show.
Yeah,
like it was instantaneous. He came back on screen, and I was like, "Oh, I like this show. I forgot that I like this show.
Oh,
I like parts of this. This show has good moments." And like I'll say this, I like the episode where it's him versus Jessica, and you realize just how scary he is as a character. So that was something that I enjoyed quite a bit. But then they fridge him for the rest of the show.
He had to return to his home planet.
Right.
They Poojied him.
Yeah, but yeah, they got Claire Temple in those few episodes, so she kind of made up for it, I guess. Yeah, so I guess that's a good sum up of our general thoughts of Jessica Jones before this season. And now let's just sort of do our general thoughts of these first 4 episodes, I guess. So anything in particular that stands out to anyone that they want to start with?
Spider-Man.
What?
The Spider-Man parodies.
Oh, yeah, that's a thing that I don't quite remember. So you're gonna have to
with Wizard.
Oh,
okay, yeah. Also, I do want to point out something about this season, where I feel like they're objectively like calling me out, where they're like, let's just drop characters like the Wizard into this show,
right?
Like characters only like crazy people like I would know about.
Yes. And there's also a suggestion that he's also the character Mongoose later on, because he has a pet mongoose. So like there's all kinds of weird stuff that they throw in.
Give him hell a meal.
It's fucking awesome. Like it's really cool.
Yeah, I do love like any sort of like little Easter eggs like that. Because it's just like, oh, well, that's something to Google while I watch the show.
Speaking of Easter eggs, I did want to bring up something that my insane conspiracy brain kind of cooked up while I was watching this. When she's interviewing candidates, there's one who's like, reptiles are like changing into like political. Like part of me wants to believe she means Skrulls, and that means that Secret Invasion is next.
Oh my god!
Maybe.
Yes.
I feel like
I don't think it's gonna.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna happen.
I don't know. I do think it's definitely a reference to the fact that in the comics, I think Jessica was replaced by a Skrull at one point.
Yeah, she was.
So I think that's what that's a reference to, which is like a very insider thing to call back to from the book. So yeah, that was cool. And the mother who's missing her child, I don't know if that's a reference to something, or if that's setting something up. But that was also, yeah, all those interviews were funny. I thought.
Yeah,
they were all very well done.
I never knew about the Wizard. But now I love the Wizard.
He's great.
Great. The first time you see him go fast.
Yep. It's so goofy, but I love it.
Yeah.
He like the way he runs too is so comical.
Yeah. And I love that he's like, Quicksilver in Avengers 2 was like 1/5 as fast as the Flash. The Wizard seems to be like 1/4 as fast as Quicksilver was.
He can only do it in bursts.
Right.
He has fewer powers.
I love it. I love it so much.
So fucking great.
Yeah. I do love what they did with the tone of the show. It feels very different from the first season. It's both like more noir with the narration, and more comical, and the comedy works even better.
Yes.
Can we talk about the first scene? Or not the first scene, but the scene in the pizza shop?
Yeah, the pizza shop scene, I like that scene a lot, because
it's really good, yeah.
It kind of sets the tone for expectations of Jessica.
Yeah, definitely.
With just vigilante superhero.
Yeah, it's a great, like, it sets up what this whole season is about. Her struggling with, is she a hero or is she a vigilante? Does she want to use either of those titles? And how does she feel about what she has done in the past, and particularly the actions that she had to take at the end of last season?
It is funny just to positioning this when they just did the Punisher, and she's like, I don't kill, I'm a vigilante.
Right. I do love that. Yeah, that is great. Also, like the last show that they put out, the Punisher beats a man to death. He like beats his skull to a pulp. So yeah, it's
like just thinking about that scene and then like smash cut to this show is hilarious to me.
It's pretty good. And the woman who owns the pizza shop, she's hilarious.
She is.
She's pretty great. Yeah.
That pizza looked delicious too.
It did. It did. All pizza looks delicious though if it's done right.
That's
now
right.
I want pizza. God damn it.
That whole scene, that whole sequence, though, I think was really well done, especially with like as setting up with like what the show is going to be. Because I don't feel like the first it had some detective stuff, right? It wasn't like
but it was more making fun of it a little bit, kind of.
Yeah, like, this feels like more true to form, I'd say.
Yeah,
like it's cool. I like it.
Yeah, it's not so much making fun of the tropes; it's more embracing them, but occasionally poking fun, which I enjoy.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, and I feel like this season, the first episode does a lot to make it so that if you hadn't watched the first season for some reason, where you could kind of jump in.
Yeah,
especially that opening. It definitely is. Oh, this is what Jessica does very clearly in a very visual way. You can sort of put the pieces together. This is what her life is. This is what her clients are like, or tend to be like. Because that woman is very much like an amalgamation of all the different clients that we met in season 1, in the best way. And so yeah, I like that it is kind of like it's that everybody's comic is their first comic, thing.
Yeah.
And I do like that that's the approach that this season has taken. And I think that the lighter tone works really well because the first season, and I think a lot of people really like it because the themes that it's dealing with, and I think that they overlook some of my issues and Hunter's issues because of that, which I'm not saying is wrong. I'm not saying those people are wrong for doing that. I just don't agree with that. But
like I do have the same issues you do with the first season. Some bad side characters, some not great pacing, but overall for me, it still doesn't like it's the season as a whole still works. It does detract from it being like really like a perfect season, but I think for me how it deals with the teams is more than just the teams themselves.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that because this one it doesn't have the same thematic pull, I guess, like the thematic stuff from episode to episode, because spoilers, I've looked ahead a little bit all the way
a little bit quotes.
The thematic pull from episode to episode, the overall arc isn't quite as dark as that was, and it's not dealing with anything quite as serious. It's still dealing with post-traumatic stress, that's just Jessica Jones as a character. Like, if there was if you wrote a feeling underneath her, it's post-traumatic stress. That's her entire life, it seems, which is why I think people relate to her, and that's what this is dealing with, but it's older stuff, so there's this disconnect, so they can have a slightly lighter tone, which I definitely enjoyed in this season quite a bit.
I do like that this season, but so far it's very much about her being broken and acknowledging that and trying to be whole again and trying to understand why, like fundamentally why she's broken.
Yeah.
Also trying to remember her past.
That's the stuff that really works. So there's a lot of little things. I do want to bring up that there was a surprising amount of stuff that to me felt like references to Defenders. The big one is when she says "heroes die" to Trish.
That's a hugely on the nose. Yeah,
it's like
Matt.
Yeah, that was very clear to me that's what that was. Here's the thing. That's all I really needed. I didn't need Luke to show up again. I didn't need Danny to show up again because
we got Foggy.
And also, at the end of Defenders, there's very clearly a thing of I don't think I really want to see you for a while. I don't think I want to interact with you for a while. I think things are a little bit too. We've been through a lot.
I needed space.
Right. So it's okay that they don't show up again.
Yeah, I do think Defender has the MCU problem a bit of characters not feeling like they did in the previous and following solo film. Like Jessica Jones feels like a very different character in Defenders that she does in this series. Like having watched like I watched the first 2 episodes of Jessica Jones, then season 2, then I binged Defenders because I hadn't watched it, and it felt very like a huge jump in character. But I think that's what you have to do when you do something like Defenders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to quote Eric's tweet, he basically just said, "It's weird so far."
That's understandable. They do a lot of compression, and and we said in our review when we did that, the show is very matte heavy because it's the showrunners from Daredevil. So the show just leans towards matte and writers who know how to write matte already, but they don't quite know how to write the other 3. Not that in one case that there was any good baseline for how to write one of them, but that said, the other 2 there was like. The other writers have more experience. I think Melissa Rosenberg knows Jessica Jones a little bit better. That's why she writes the characters so much more. She's more fluent with the character of Jessica Jones. And I think the same could be said for... I can never pronounce the name of the showrunner for Luke Cage, so I won't even attempt. But yeah, he writes Luke much better than the writers of Defenders, definitely. So yeah... I don't even know where we're going. But anything from one of these 4 episodes, anything else that sort of just stands out immediately?
From the first season too, I do still love Malcolm. I think he's the best sidekick.
He's grown quite a bit in my eyes, and I like him a lot in these first 4 episodes. He really contributes, and that is something that you do see in these first 4, is the ensemble cast is stronger. They're far better written, and you can tell that they're being directed much better, or they're being written much better. One or the other. Even Simpson is much better in this season, I thought, and he's barely in it.
He's only in it for about an episode, not even an episode.
Yeah, and he's infinitely better. He performs better. He's directed better. He's written better, and that's just a very small character. Carrie-Anne Moss?
Yeah.
Carrie-Anne Moss. I thought she was one of the shining parts of Jessica Jones, except I didn't quite like her infidelity stuff that much. I thought
she was one of the best things about Iron Fist.
Yeah, she was. That's true. If you can say that there were things that were good.
Yeah.
But she had...
Well, if Connor was here, he'd say David Wenham.
Yes, probably. But her stuff in Jessica Jones, when it wasn't just her, to me, it kind of suffered in some parts. In these first 4 episodes, everything with her is great. I love everything. I love her and the prostitutes. I love this sort of like, I'm dead already, so fuck it thing that she's doing. And I love her sitting in the car. Yeah.
I love her telling Foggy to fuck off.
Yeah, I love that too. I love that.
Poor Foggy. Mm-hmm. I feel like the reveal of her having ALS is like really earned at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it was like when she dropped it, I was like, oh no. Mm-hmm. Like this got real.
Like... Also, we got another Matt reference with Foggy and Jerry.
Yeah, and Foggy was just enough. Also, like Foggy would be there. And,
I just want to talk about. Can I just talk about 2 things quickly?
Sure. Yeah.
I like the character development of Oscar.
Oh yeah, the new super. Yeah. He's great. I think. He gets. I don't think he's as great in the first episode though.
Does he look familiar?
No. Why? Should I recognize him from something?
He played Wildcat on Arrow. Season 3.
Shoot!
What?
Yeah. Well, I mean that's not surprising. The crossover between these 2 casts is actually pretty big. I mean, Simpson is human target. Yeah. On Arrow, so that's not surprising to me.
That is still insane to me that they did that. They're like, let's just get the human target.
Yeah, let's just do the human target. This is no big deal.
We might as well.
Yeah. Yeah, wow, I knew I recognized him from somewhere, and now that you said that blows my mind. But him as a character, I think he's not as interesting in the first episode because he's not there that much, and he kind of starts off as the generic, well, I don't like super people character, but I think he grows a lot through just these first 4 episodes. And
yeah,
go ahead.
At first, I couldn't bring myself to care about that whole subplot. It felt like it's just boring and unnecessary. I did like the moment when Jessica tries to take off his belt, and he's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, that was very good. And I like that he doesn't do the thing of like, well, I have this opinion and I'm sticking to this opinion for all time, and I'm never gonna change my mind about anything. Like, he doesn't do that at all, which I really enjoy. Like, I hate when characters continue to have a wrong opinion even when they know that they're wrong. And it's obvious that they know. Like, he's a smart character who takes in the evidence around him and comes to the right conclusion, which is something that I appreciate quite a bit.
I also liked Vito.
Vito's great. Vito's he's a good kid.
And he was instrumental in
yes,
Oscar and Jessica patching things up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another thing. Like, he listens to his son. Like, he doesn't like act like a dick when his son tells him the truth. He just accepts it and then he moves on. That's a strong choice.
He said his superpower is green cards.
Yeah, that's true. But like, compared to a certain character from season 1, he's a much more well-developed, well-written character. So that was something that I appreciated greatly. All right. Do we want to go sort of move to the more in-depth questions? Okay.
Oh wait, I've got 2 quotes from episode 1.
Say that again.
I have 2 quotes from episode 1.
Sure.
Between Price and Jessica.
Oh, yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Jessica said, "I read your life story. It put me to sleep."
That was good.
And then after she attacks Chang.
Yeah. So that actually segues pretty well.
He says, "Super, you're the weakest human being I've ever met."
Yeah, definitely.
And for Connor, to sort of have Connor here as a Force Ghost, I put, "It was me, Jessica." Hashtag or parentheses Jerry.
God damn it. Yes, let's go into the writing of the show overall, because I love all of Kristen Ritter's one-liners, all of her jokes, all of them. Like, she's great, and she delivers her lines so well. But yeah, like, the writing on this show, I thought it was good for the most part last season. I thought that Melissa Rosenberg really wrote Jessica very well, but I think the writing on the show in general has just gone up a notch in my mind. And I think the show is really just so strong these first 4 episodes. And like, I love that the Wizard is a character who you really can just throw away in the first episode, but you start to believe more as he shows up more. And you start to really feel for this, silly character.
This poor man.
Yeah.
Who just like, who dashes.
Yep. Who has a mongoose, like, just
in my notes when
just hanging out.
What happens to Wizard? I said, Wizard goes boom shakalaka.
Oh, god damn it.
He gets fucking wrecked.
He does get wrecked, and Vito sees it.
And
yeah, poor kids.
And that's a good segue to him serving Jessica with an eviction notice.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, their conflict, it kind of starts off like, okay, we've seen this before, but it never becomes forced, and it never becomes like, okay, can we just move on with this eviction thing? We know it's never gonna hold. We know he's not actually gonna evict Jessica. In these first 4 episodes.
Do like that every of their reactions to one another makes sense. Like, he's very angry with her because she brought cops to his door, like any not white person would be, I think.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And if you just to give more focus or to give more insight on the Spider-Man parody stuff, with great power comes great mental illness.
Oh, okay. So I wasn't sure what you meant earlier when you said that.
Because there's two.
So the Weezer saying that was a very good line. I thought he delivered it very well, and that was a line that I didn't expect to like. I didn't expect lines in this show to like hit me hard in that way. I don't know why. But that line was really effective, and he, like, the videos of him are really effective. He's a very good actor. I don't know if I've seen him in other things. I probably have. But he impressed me, even as a ghost in the machine, as it were. So yeah, like, everything with him, though, I love. I love the way that his stuff is written, and I love the way that he weaves into the show and sort of becomes the what's it called? The call to action for Jessica, as it were. So yeah, that's something that I really enjoyed. Everything about him, really.
Was that the one that laughed when I earlier said, give him hell, Emil? When the cops are knocking on the door, she goes, give him hell, and she just lets him out.
That was good.
And he's pissed off.
Yeah, like her lines are great. Like I said, that's any other bits of the writing that was really impressive to anybody, I guess. In these first 4.
And the second Spider-Man bit was Griffin's Scrody sense.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wouldn't call that Spider-Man parody. It's just like references. That's what I would call that. I think that you need to come up with a better name for that. Any other bits of writing? Because otherwise we can move into just...
Yeah, I think the relationship between Trish and her boyfriend feels like very natural, very well written. Like, all their banter is very good.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, he doesn't come across as fake, which I rather enjoyed. And I can't remember when they kind of are... I mean, spoilers, they break up at some point. I can't remember when that happens.
How dare you ruin that for me?
I know, you're so shocked.
Everything starts in episode 3. Right. That's where the whole thing begins.
Yes, that's correct. But he genuinely cares for her, which is something I also very much enjoyed. He's just a very likable character. And he could have been very plastic. He could have been very, non-authentic. And I thought he came across as very likable and very interesting. Even though he's not in the season for that long. He kind of disappears at some point from the show. But he leaves a very strong impact on these first few episodes, I thought. In a very good way. And he kind of facilitates the story between Jess and Trish, which is kind of the heart of the season, is that they, even though they're friends, they still have a friendly rivalry. There's sort of, maybe not an intentional rivalry, but Trish kind of doesn't... She's kind of jealous of Jessica in ways that, you really didn't get to see in the first season as much. There were little buds there, but you really get the sense that, she kind of wants to have the danger. She kind of wants powers also.
Which sort of happens in episode 4.
Yeah, and she kind of doesn't like that Jessica has the ability to do something and she just doesn't. And I like how that sort of is seated throughout the first 4 episodes, and it's seated very well, I thought. So yeah.
Can we talk about the Max character?
Max?
The movie director.
Oh yeah.
That dude.
Yeah, that's okay. Do we want to move into acting, the performances and stuff like that? Or
no. I'm talking about what happens in the story.
Oh, okay. Well, he's only really in it for a few. Like the video comes back, but it doesn't really. The video never really becomes anything. Unless I'm mistaken.
Yeah, they use it to blackmail him.
They do. But it's...
And then Jessica is about to purchase a hole through his car.
I think that's the real motivator for Max. is getting his Tesla punched. Yeah, that was...
Also, throughout that episode, we were seeing Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
And we were told things that were true and false about Simpson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're led to believe that he's like working
that he killed
for IGH.
Kozlov.
Yeah, that he's sort of he's a bad guy like he was the last time we saw him, and the
exact wording was Kozlov wanted whoever he was talking to make Trish go away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I like the way that they do that he's not just, the bad guy again, that he's sort of acting out of a place of kindness, and he's kind of become a good guy again. Yeah. He's the character that we met sort of in the middle of Jessica Jones season 1. So yeah, I did like that. I liked how he was more than meets the eye, as it were.
And he went out Kilgrave style.
Yeah. Yes, he did. That is true. Yeah. Yeah, but the Max stuff is fine, I guess.
It's very 2018.
Yes, very.
Yeah.
It's very of the moment, so it's hard to really judge it because it's so... It feels so real. It feels so, like, taken out of the news in a Law and Order kind of way. So, yeah, like, I don't know how to feel about it overall. Yeah. But it's
I really wonder when it was written. Like, probably before.
That's the thing. Like, these things, sometimes they happen right before it's even a thing. And, it's very interesting the way that stuff works out.
It's the Nostradamus effect.
Yeah, and also, like, directors being kind of gross on sets.
And pervy? That's nothing new.
Yeah, that's not a new thing. It's just, it only recently became a topic of widespread conversation. But that's been around for a while, and Melissa Rosenberg obviously would have known about it. As a writer, I think she's been writing TV for a very long time, so she would have some knowledge of that. So yeah, like
last scene writing rise I'd like to mention is the anger management scene at the beginning of episode 4. I love the narration at the beginning when she's like in the summer in New York, people just get angrier. Then it cuts to anger management.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that
with the ball.
Really good. That was really good.
Really good.
And I love that. I love the person leading that group. And I love he's like and again I know this phrasing is weird. His thing of like, I beat my wife for 20 years.
Yeah.
Which
and
is
she tried to kill herself.
About it.
Which is a long time to beat your wife.
Yes.
Like, I'm surprised that you stuck together that long.
And the reason he changed is because she tried to kill herself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that was
which doesn't make it better. What doesn't make it better?
Yeah, it doesn't really. Like, I would not have stayed together knowing about the past. I would have maybe gone on to be friends afterwards, but I would not continue living with someone who beat me to the point of wanting to commit suicide. But yeah, like, but that still felt very real. Like, all those characters felt very real. So
yeah, it's a great moment of, I'm very much not a good guy, but I'm trying to be a bit better, and you should all too.
Yeah, definitely.
We forgot the nightmare sequence.
Which one exactly? You mean like the flashback sequence with the door?
No, when she wakes up and Meatface grabs her.
When Toxic Avenger shows up?
Yeah.
I wrote down Darth Maul.
I guess everybody has their own
He
reference.
had no horns. There were no horns protruding from that man's head.
But yeah, like
good point.
But when the walking hamburger shows up, like that was I was like, okay, I don't know where this is going, but if there's a walking hamburger as the villain for the rest of this season, I'm kind of in, because that's the kind of ridiculous that I enjoy. But no, like that's something that we get more context about later on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I do love that Jessica is like, I just stopped ninjas from destroying New York, but I don't believe in that Meatface exists.
Right. That is, that's a good point.
That's over the line.
Yeah. I don't believe that that my nightmare meat person exists, but I did fight a woman named the Black Sky in a room of dragon bones.
Yeah, dragon bones.
So yeah, like
I'm still pissed off there was no actual dragons.
We know. Yeah, that's a complaint going all the way back to Iron Fist, though.
Don't you say him beat the dragon in Iron Fist?
No, you see the eyes of a dragon for 1 second.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah,
it's real bad.
Sucks.
It's real bad. Real bad. Yeah.
Hunter, were you reminded of Happy Souls when?
No, I was too angry to remind of anything.
All right. Yeah, I think we've covered the writing of these first four, but it's very good. There's a lot of very good setup, and all the actors have something to do. That's another thing. Like Eka Darville, I think, who plays Malcolm, he gets a lot to do, and he's delightful. I think he's becoming one of my favorite supporting characters in this whole show. Definitely. So yeah,
there's a scene where he says where Price tries to approach him.
Yeah, that's a good scene too. Like that's...
And he says, "Start teaching me some," and he says, "Jessica, start teaching me some stuff and give me 25%." And she says 20, and it's like, and I put in my notes, "Good for you, Malcolm. Good on you."
Yeah. His stuff is great in these first four. I love the fact that he punches the director. That was a really earned punch.
He punches him really hard too.
Yeah. Like he gets a bruise on his hand for the rest of the episode. So that was real good.
There's also
fucking rocked.
There's also that moment where Jessica said that Griffin and Trish are on the outs, and then they mistake Malcolm for her new boyfriend.
Yeah, that stuff's really good too. And the stuff with the paparazzi is also very funny, kind of. Yeah, so this is a good segue into acting. As I said, I really enjoyed Eka Darville. Like his performance is really strong. And again, like I think he really is one of the standouts. But were there any other standouts in terms of acting that we haven't mentioned already, just through the course of talking about this?
J.R. Ramirez.
Who is that?
Oscar.
Well, that we haven't talked about
Oh,
already.
Janet McTeer.
You're gonna have to remind us who the character is. Is that Patsy's mom?
No, quote unquote Inez Green.
Oh, Inez. Is she in these first 4? I forgot when she shows up.
Yeah, they find her in the 4th episode.
That's right. Inez is great. I love Inez. And I mean, again, she's more in the show later on, and I feel like maybe we should save her for part 2 review because she is more in that, and that's where she really gets to develop as a character. But I will say this now: the stuff between her and Hogarth is really good.
Oh wait, no, I was thinking of the wrong character. The quote unquote Leslie Hansen.
Oh, you mean? When
I'm trying not to spoil like anything else.
Yeah, let's just call her not Leslie Hansen for now. Leslie Hansen with the wig, or
who can fly?
Yes,
Leslie Hansen with the good hair.
Yeah. God damn it. She's also very good. Again, like we might want to talk about her more later on. She really doesn't get a lot to do in these first 4. But yeah, like I guess let's talk about Trish actually, because she's a character who had her ups and her downs in the first season, but
especially with Simpson.
Yeah. But as a performer, she had some very good moments with Jess, and that's her best stuff. Her best stuff is with her and Jess, and she had some moments that were kind of, I don't know about that. There were points where I was like, why would you say that on the radio?
Yes, every time they show her radio show, I'm like, what's going on? Who talks like that? Who would listen to this show?
Right. In the world of podcasting, also, like, who listens? Also, why are you on regular radio? Who still listens to radio? Like, I don't get that. But yeah, like, also, like, why isn't your show also a YouTube show? Because why not? And that was the other thing. Like, well, if you want to be on camera talent so much, why not just do a YouTube show? Like, you're really good at that. You could easily just put your own show together with a camera and a green screen, and if you're really good at the news, they would hire you.
Yeah, do that shit.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I thought she was really good, and I think Patsy's mother is really good also.
Yeah, she's very good.
Dorothy.
Yeah, and I did not like her as much in the first season. Like, she was kind of like, flat, one-dimensional, annoying mom character, but she really gets some depth even in these first 4 episodes. And I love any scene with her and Jessica because it's just so much venom being thrown back and forth.
I love the scene where it's at the, I want to say, wake, and she's like, for God's sakes, pretend that you're crying.
that was pretty good. That was very good. Like, I love how some of the things that it says about her as a character also. There's a lot of good moments. There's a lot of good little moments. Like, I love the woman who plays Patsy, who his name is not occurring to me right now.
Rachel Taylor.
Yeah, Rachel Taylor, former star of the Transformers franchise.
Transformers 1. Just 1.
Yeah, 10 years ago. More than that, actually. But yeah, she's like, I love when she Ghostbusters 2's it at that birthday party.
Oh yeah.
And I love her like nervous singing, like, God, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here, but I have to. But I'm doing this anyway. I love that performance a lot. Like, her comedic timing is really good. And the stuff that she does with her face and her expressions and all that. I really enjoy her in this show, sort of. And a lot more in this season. Like, she's very consistent, I think, in terms of her writing, compared to previously.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the writing's pretty strong for this show. Like, I have no complaints, really.
Mm-hmm. I think every main character or character that is more than one scene is usually pretty great performance-wise, but sometimes you get like just a character in one scene and you question where they found that guy and they ever acted before.
Yeah.
Like the landlord of the building. Yeah. Where the doctor, he's just like talking, not acting.
I don't know if that was a character. They just found a guy that sounded like that, and I did like him hitting on Malcolm a lot.
Oh no, he's pretty good. I'm talking about when they're looking for the doctor, and she goes in the building and finds the head.
Oh,
yeah, there's just an old dude that's there that just feels like he walked on the set.
That's
yeah,
that's fair.
His what was it? His nephew's got spoken for his.
Yeah, his nephew has the place. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was wondering, was he in the first season? I just didn't remember him. I felt like
no, I don't think so. He's just.
Okay.
He's just a random old guy.
Yeah, he's a random guy.
Yeah. Okay, that's good because I was like, am I supposed to know who that is? Yeah. And like I love Carrie Ann Moss telling the hooker to leave. I don't know why that made me laugh. She's like, pack up your shit. Yeah, pack up your shit and get the fuck out.
She's incredible. I think
really is.
She's an outstanding in the whole Disney cast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's.
And then there's this scene with her and her doctor where she's asking for the black market, or not or sort of black market treatments.
Yeah, so that's the thing. There's a lot of times where I feel like they're kind of repeating beats from season 1, but it's almost like they know that they didn't treat those beats very well. Like, they didn't give them their full due, and they're kind of retreading them with the purpose of doing it better this time. So Carrie Ann Moss throughout this season kind of has a similar arc with what she had with Kilgrave, where once she realized that Kilgrave is a real guy and he's not just this, story that Jess tells, she tries to make money off of it. But this season, it's not about money; it's about survival. And I like how that that anchors that storyline a little bit more. And it's not just that she's a selfish, conniving bitch or whatever. She's a character with a heart, and she's trying to live, and she has her own ambitions that don't include slowly dying from ALS.
She says to Jessica, she thought that power and money would protect her, but now it's not going to.
Right. Yeah.
Or nothing can protect her.
Yeah, like for her, having power is important, just as important as anything else. And I like how that plays out in this season. And again, like, it's just so much more layered, and it's far less one-dimensional for her. And she really gets a chance to do some really great acting. And it makes me miss Carrie Ann Moss and wonder where she's been in between The Matrix and Jessica Jones, and want to go back and look through the movies that she has probably done in between and appreciate her, because she is a very accomplished actress. Do we have any other last sort of acting performances that we want to point out before we maybe move into directing?
No, I think...
Can I just bring up one last story quote?
Sure.
It's Jessica just repeating, "That's not me. That's not me. That's not me."
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, that's a... Okay.
And
well,
the thing is,
go ahead.
I was not Leslie Hansen and Jessica. I felt like they were kind of one, like, not Leslie Hansen was a broken, or like the opposite, or the mirror reflection.
Yeah, that's
of
fair.
Jessica.
Yeah, she does that very much. Yeah.
And then I looked at Wikipedia, and god damn it, I thought I was being smart and getting onto something for once.
Well, what did you find? Anything about her that we should know? Because I haven't looked into her.
It's going to be revealed.
Okay.
In upcoming episodes.
All right. We'll just let that sit then. I mean, it goes without saying. We said it many times. Kristen Ritter is great, but she really does get a lot to do in this season.
Yeah.
And just in these first 4 episodes, the range that she gets to express on screen is great. You get fear. You get this the same comedic sense that she has, but there's so much more, like, just everything, just being her sense of her ability to display that she is shocked by what is going on around her, even though she knows all these really crazy things are possible, and just she's just, I don't know, she's great. She's really great in these first 4 episodes, and she just really leads the show in a very strong way. And almost in a stronger way, I think, than she did in the first season, because this season is more of an ensemble, which is I think is a big part of it. Is she has more interaction with the rest of the cast, and that sort of strengthens the show as a whole. So yeah,
everyone that she gets to play off of is very good too, which makes like her performance feel even better.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. All right.
Okay. Before we go into the next thing, our next topic.
Yeah.
I found out that Rosenberg and the writers were halfway through the writing process by late 2016, and they were writing during the election.
Okay. So I guess, I guess the director stuff hadn't come out by then, but sexual harassment was definitely more of a topic. That's a good thing to bring up, actually. Good job. So yeah, let's move into direction. And direction is just like weird directing choices that we found interesting, I guess. One that I'll start off with, unless somebody has one right now.
I think that some very weird shots in this show, like how they frame stuff and always behind objects. Like I guess it fits the PI.
Yeah.
The PI themes of the show, but sometimes it feels just stupid.
Yeah, sometimes it does. But then you have shots like, I love the opening of episode 3 because it's like this big like shot of the ocean, and it's it's very serene, and it's kind of overcast, but then you just see a body flying through the air.
Yeah.
And then it slowly pans over to Jessica. And I didn't realize it was a body at first. I was like, wait, what was that?
I thought it was a shirt.
Same. But I was like, oh, she just threw Simpson into the ocean.
She is that powerful.
Like that was so good, but that's such a like that shot is so interesting.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's just a great opening for an episode. Like, and it's just so weird. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I love from this show. Any other directing choices that really stood out to one of you guys?
I don't know. Nothing that like sticks out in my mind really.
I like the dream sequences a lot. I like how that stuff is directed. It's very similar to some of the flashbacks early on from season 1, but I don't know. I feel like there was more of a sense of focus in these dream sequences. I like the way that the what is called a Zolly shot when she's going down that hallway towards the door at the end. I thought that was a really effective use of that. Like that stuff was great. Again, when we first see the Toxic Avenger in her dreams, I thought that was
where's his mom?
Yeah, I thought that was very effective.
Oh yeah, that's a nice running gag. How she kept waking up, falling out of bed. That's a writing thing, but that's still very good. That's a very good thing to point out. That she keeps on waking up on the floor and she's like, shit. I love that.
I think I like the narration very much. That's something that I don't remember it being in the first show, but I'm not sure. But in this, I think it does give it the whole thing a noir feeling that I like a lot.
It's definitely a bigger part of the season. Like it was there, but it wasn't quite as present and obvious as it is in this season, and it's a really big element in this one, and I think it's used very well to help forward the story. So yeah.
Yeah, I think every opening scene is very good also, which like brings you in immediately. Like the anger management scene, the scene where at the beach, the scene at the pizza shop. I don't remember what the second episode starts with.
I think that starts with Patsy and her mother, which is also a very good choice, I thought.
Yeah.
And like I love that the beach scene is followed up with her and that sort of pop psychologist. That was very interesting.
How she kept asking for more pillows when she had like 7.
You have 7 pillows, Jessica. That was very good. They do something that I think, Eric, you kind of mentioned this with the putting things in front of things, or that sort of thing.
Yeah.
They do weird things with their establishing shots. So they'll do an establishing shot of New York, but instead of the typical establishing shot, it's a street lamp in the middle of the daytime, and it's just focused on the street lamp, and the building that you're supposed to be looking at is out of focus, which is just a weird choice. This is a very strange choice, but it kind of works. And then you cut to Carrie Ann Moss, so yeah.
Yeah, just sometimes you see two characters having a discussion, and the shot is from behind a couch, and you see half the screen is a couch, which is sometimes works, but sometimes it just feels weird. It's like, I guess you want different shots, and you want it to like I said, I get it why it works thematically, but sometimes it just doesn't work like physically.
Yeah, I agree. Like sometimes you have shots from behind Carrie Ann Moss, like when she's talking to her partners at the firm, and half the shot is her blurry arm, and that I can see sort of used for that. But like the shots of the couch are very weird. It's an interesting choice to say the least. Any other directing choices that sort of stand out to anybody else? We'll move into favorite parts, of course.
I have one.
Okay.
It's not really like scene stuff. It's more production. The fact that all 13 episodes are directed by women.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's the thing to point out. That's a good sort of side topic, I guess, or subtopic. I mean, we're all men here, so we really can't comment on this.
Yeah, I got nothing on that front.
But like, I guess did any of us notice something? I guess compared to the last season, which was, I think it was like half men, half women directed, if my memory serves.
All the dudes that are recurring characters are insanely hot, like noticeably hot. Like the boyfriend, the neighbor, the superintendent.
They're all good-looking dudes. Yeah.
Yeah, and even Eka Darville is like ripped in this season. Like,
yeah.
Good call. Like, really good call. And you get a lot of like beefcake shots of him, like with his shirt off. This is why we have a French Canadian occasionally guest on the show.
We need that insight.
Yeah, that's a really good pick, actually. Like, there's a lot of like objectification of men, and here's the thing: I'm not against it. I'm cool with it.
It never feels like too much. I just noticed, like, when you see the superintendent, he's like, he's the image in my head of a good-looking man,
right?
And then you see Trish's boyfriend, and it's like, yeah, that guy too.
Yeah, like that guy's like, that's Charlie Cox, but like slightly amp up the handsome a little bit, like just like yeah, like all the male casting, like with the exception of like Whizzer and the guy who owns the apartment building, like yeah, all of the major male supporting actors are really good looking. Good call, Eric. Good call. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else that, again, like, it's very hard for us as men to say if we really notice anything other than I do think the relationship between Trish and Jess is a bit more realistic, and that could be the writing, obviously.
Yeah, but
I think directing plays a part in that, so I do think that we can maybe attribute some of that to the all-female directing, you know, and
yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So yeah, that's one thing that I think definitely fits. And also just like all the interactions really between female characters, I guess, in this show, they all feel very real, and there isn't a prominent female character who feels like she doesn't exist ever and could never have ever existed. Period. Yeah. So that's the thing that is sort of notable, I guess, that all these interactions between these characters feel very real, especially the female characters. They all feel like, okay, I've sat in on conversations between women and who are having very similar conversations, and they feel very authentic. So yeah, that's something that I thought was notable, because even Hogarth's partner, even she feels very real, where she could feel very cartoony, very easily on another show, I think. So yeah.
Oh, the whole Hogarth legal stuff. I was getting a lot of bad Vietnam Iron Fist flashbacks.
Yeah, that's a good point. But it was really good because Hogarth is there. Like, again, Carrie Ann Moss, she kills it in this season, I thought.
Oh, definitely. But no, I'm talking about how they were trying to force her out.
Right. I thought that was fine. I thought all that stuff was fine. I thought her partners were really well cast, because I don't remember seeing them in the previous seasons or in the previous season. But they were really interestingly cast, and you know, and the female partner, she wasn't just like this, you know, character who had it out for Hogarth. You kind of got her side of the story a little bit. You get more of it as it goes on. But she's not completely just like this flat character whose only thing is, I don't like Hogarth anymore. I don't want to work with her. which is a sort of a default, and they never default to the default, which is something that it's worth pointing out. Also,
I mean, it's kind of, it shows how good she is because we keep going back to her.
Yeah.
But Kristen Ritter's performance, like when Hogarth is asking if Jessica found anything on them.
Mm-hmm. The whole scene with her telling her about the ALS, like that scene is very good. And I love how her entire demeanor towards Hogarth changes over the course of that scene. And that's something that I thought was very good. I don't know if there's anything directing wise that has to do with that, or I will say that I will point out this again. I don't know if this is directing or writing, but every time Hogarth said Rand, I felt what's the word, triggered. Very triggered. It was. I was like, Rand. What's Rand? Oh no. Yeah, that was very good. But yeah, that was very funny for me. But yeah, like.
Would you rather have that or Ward?
I don't know. I really don't know. No, like her mentioning Rand is good, but it's like, why are you making me think of Iron Fist? I was starting to really like this show. And you're giving me Iron Fist. Iron Fist sounds like a very good show, by the way. But you're giving me Iron Fist flashbacks, and that's not what I need. That's okay. So we're gonna, I guess, close it up with our favorite parts from the show, I guess. So favorite moments from these 4 episodes that we haven't mentioned already, if we have any.
The scene where Wizard throws the ashes and they fall all over her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The ashes of her brother.
Mm.
And Malcolm finds her covered in finds her with the ashes and just starts cleaning up.
Yeah. I thought that was great, and I love when she says, "Don't step on him." That was
yes,
like
that's very good.
That's a very good line, and I like how the ashes come back in one of her dream sequences where she wakes up and she has whiskey IV in her arm in her dream, and how that plays out, and it leads to her getting attacked by the meat monster again.
Also, ashes start raining from ceiling.
Yes, that's right. Mm. Yes, that's where that sort of connects, and that's another that is one of my favorite parts. Hunter, do you have any favorite parts that we haven't mentioned already?
Well, the scene where in episode 4, where they had Simpson. Where he's explaining that it wasn't him is like, I think that's a really good like misdirect, because we like where they just kind of like swerve on you that he's telling the truth, like
yeah definitely. And I do like when I like that we don't see his death. It's kind of like Predator.
Yeah.
I thought that was very good, and I like that when we do see the killer, as we'll call them, they jump over Jessica and Trish.
And we don't see them leave. They just disappear into the night.
Well, no, they do shut a door behind them, but it's like you don't get a good sense of who the killer is, sort of. You're unsure of, the gender or really anything about the killer other than their basic sort of outline. And I like that. I like that there really is like a solid mystery for these first 4 episodes. And you really don't get a sense of who you're dealing with at all. And that's something I very much enjoyed. Any other sort of favorite bits that we maybe haven't covered?
Yeah, when in episode 4, when they're going to find Inez.
Yeah.
When Trish uses the IGH drug, and how her perception changes.
I like that scene too. I like that perspective of Inhaler Trish, I guess. Sort of predator wildcat.
Prior to that, when they asked the homeless man about Inez, he says, "Be careful, she crazy ass."
That homeless man is great. I don't know if that's a real homeless man or not, but he's great. I love him.
They just found a homeless man. They're just like, you, come here.
And he's really interesting looking, which helps. Again, I don't know if that's just a New York actor or if that's a real homeless man. That's the thing.
I want to believe it's a real one.
Yeah. He was really good. The whole thing with Inez, you're like, oh, is there another enhanced person here? That was really done, actually. I think that scene there was tension in that scene. Even though there really shouldn't have been, as you find out after the scene ends. But you really do feel this sense of like, oh wow, there's maybe some dread here. In a scene that you maybe wouldn't expect it. So, yeah. Any other sort of last sort of favorite bits before we can sort of maybe move into something else?
Not really. I think we covered that section at least.
One last thing.
Go ahead.
A character who we've barely even touched on. Chang.
Because he has more stuff to do later on.
I know. I mean, when the guy who was, I have a theory, was probably going to be Malcolm. If he took the job, stealing the files and then getting in the truck, and he gets attacked and mutilated, and there's a lot of gore.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see the gore, or you see the gore, but you don't see everything. You just hear you hear it.
Yeah, definitely. I do have. I guess there are two scenes that I can point out. I like the skull. The skull is a really good scene.
Yeah.
That scene is very well done, and I do like the scene at the end of episode 3, where we meet the killer. That scene is very well done, and there's a real, I don't know, there's something about that scene that's just very well thought out, I think.
When she pushes the table on her and Jessica can't move it.
You're gonna find out in episodes, and when you do the next episode or your next set.
Yeah, our part 2 review is going to be very juicy, to say the least. Lots of reveals.
I heard people refer to the first few episodes as the boring part. So, and I didn't find the second
I mean, if this is boring, then what's coming next is going to blow us all away.
Yeah. Like the dialogue with not Leslie. God damn it, Allan. The dialogue with not Leslie it's really well done. I really like it. And again, I've watched ahead. She at no point hints really at who she is, at all. Like, there's nothing to sort of give you any sense of who she really is later on, and I really enjoy that. She feels like just a character that you're not really supposed to have any connection to, which is good. Like, it's just effective, and I really like it, I guess. Alright, that was a good review of Jessica Jones. We don't know what episode. So, this is a good review. Or possibly an After Dark that we... AA Haro for all the places, spacecolombo.tumblr.com, Arlen Haro on Vero, whatever, too many places, too many things. Lost Haro podcast every week with me and Eric. So, yeah.
Yeah, listen to our newest show on, I have no idea. at this point. But follow me on Twitter at Sayour and go on Sayour.wordpress.com and read my top 10 films of 2017.
You can find me on Instagram at StrokeGodMillionaire. Follow my game collecting account at Mode7Games. You can find my Snapchat. I guess there's a prize. I keep promising a prize. I don't have a prize, okay? Just if you find it, just try not to ask for dick pics or whatever.
Allan?
You can find me on Instagram at ComicsBoy. You can follow me on Twitter at ThisGingerBurns. Right. And you can find my writing on losthorror.wordpress.com.
All right. Those are your plugs, and have a good week. Bye.
Fuck, apocalypse.